we hung out like a couple of days after this 9:30 Club show, and I was so nervous, but we wrote like a 10-second song that we decided then to drive to the local mall and like busk outside of the mall with this 10-second song for like 5 hours.
Hi, how are you all?
Good, how are you?
Great. I appreciate you taking time to chat with me today. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
of
of course.
course. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Well, I'm Adam, and this is about the three of you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the new album as well.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Amazing.
Sweet. Well, like let's just start off with you, Chelsea. So talk to me about where were you born and raised?
I was born in Reston, Virginia, and raised in Northern Virginia, and still live in Northern Virginia. So
Oh wow. Okay. Do you
still
come from
here.
do you come from a creative, like a musical household at all?
No, I mean my parents loved music so much and always playing great music, but not a musical family. Just love
Okay. And how did you then get involved in music? Were you playing piano or anything early on? Or
I loved to sing as a kid. I loved to sing in the shower, and my dad kind of secretly signed me up for voice lessons when I was like 15 years old, and I was a pretty shy kid, so I started doing voice lessons with someone here in the area named Marianne Redmond, and then just kind of did was like a local singer-songwriter for a bit. Um, and that was me.
very, very cool. And then obviously you met these two years later, but we'll talk Max Spencer,
What's
twin
going on?
brothers, born and raised in DC or no?
In Silver Spring, Maryland.
Okay. Tell
Yeah,
me about that. Did you both come from a musical household?
we did. Our mom is very musical. My dad can play one song on the piano, My Sweet Lord. So that's the one that's it. But our mom, she played in bands in high school and she really encouraged us to write at like a super early age and pretty much got us. I mean, she when we were born, she like was determined to have her twin boys play in a band, and she even played bass in our band for the first few years before we kicked her out. So
Is that
she,
right?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So she is the reason why we're doing this for sure.
What was the first instrument she kind of put you guys on? Was it piano?
It was piano, with the intention of I think getting us on guitar at some point because she's a guitar player, but she got us doing piano lessons at like for a few years before we started kind of branching out and doing different instruments.
Okay. When she started to like form your band where she's the bass player, like how did she arrange it? Was like, okay, Max, you're gonna do vocals and Spencer, you're gonna like how did she organize the band?
I don't know. I think there was a lot of like twin harmonies going on. I
Yeah.
was singing more stuff then, and but Spencer was singing a lot too, and he was doing more like lead guitar, and I was doing more rhythm guitar and some piano, and then we had a drummer. Shout out Mike Konchnik. We're still buddies with him. We kicked him out of the band, unfortunately, too, but we love Mike, and that was so. Anyways, yeah, we could go on about this for hours, but yeah, we've been playing in a lot of bands, and just it's been like our whole lives pretty much. So.
Sure. And then how did Chelsea, how did you meet Max Spencer?
Oh my goodness. So I went to a show at the 9:30 Club. Actually, I have to rewind a little bit. I went to a local venue here in Northern Virginia called Jam and Java, and I went to go see a friend play, and these two were opening up for said friend. And um,
Were we talking to MySpace before that, or
no, we weren't. We weren't. We had After that show, I reached out on MySpace and I was like, "Hey, MySpace is like so old, but um, hey, saw you guys
I'm
tonight."
older than you all, so don't worry. Let
you don't look at
me know
Um,
about Frenchster. Sorry, go ahead.
Friendster? That's awesome.
um, and then we just started talking back and forth on MySpace, and then um, I was invited out to a 9:30 Club show that they were playing, and we just became best friends after that, honestly.
This was in 2008. 2008.
No, this was in 2007. And
Wow.
then we hung out like a couple of days after this 9:30 Club show, and I was so nervous, but we wrote like a 10-second song that we decided then to drive to the local mall and like busk outside of the mall with this 10-second song for like 5 hours.
Just kept playing the same 10 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really was like a really horrible loop.
People were confused. They thought we were like a cult.
Yeah, people were coming up
Like
to watch
chanting.
us.
Weird art
It's like
experiment, yeah.
a mantra.
Yeah, it was very strange. And then we walked inside to the mall because we had made like probably made like $100 outside the mall. We walked
Wow.
inside to see if we could
Double
get-
your money.
get something in there. And then we were kicked out like pretty fast for just being in there singing the same 10 seconds over and over again. But
Did that 10 seconds make it on to a full song later down the line?
It was trampoline actually.
Ah, can you imagine?
No, it did not. But sometimes we'll still bust out the song. if
We
we're-
remember the song.
We do remember the song, yeah. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Because Spencer, Max, you guys were in your band was at the Walking Sticks, and then you eventually joined with them, Chelsea, which then
Yes,
became SHAED, or like that was I'm just going off the internet. It's
Yeah,
been
yeah,
a
no,
million
that-
times.
no, they were in a band called the Walking Sticks. I was doing a solo project.
Yeah, you had a deal and stuff before that, right?
Yes,
your
I was
solo
on
stuff?
Atlantic for a bit, and I would just kind of like come to some of their shows and put like sing background. I was kind of like, I really wanted to be in the back of the stage. Like I was like, I just want to sing backups, whatever.
We're
and
like,
then-
no. It's something new. We kept
You were
just
going to the front.
further
No,
in
no,
the
no.
front. Yeah.
And then I guess their sound sort of changed from more folksy Americana to a little bit more electronic, kind of poppy, but
Yeah. We kicked out somebody else. We kicked out our drummer at that point, and it was just me, Max, and Chelsea, and we were like, we can either try to find somebody else to pop in on drums, or we were feeling really inspired by like Radiohead and Sylvan Esso and bands like that at the time, and we were like, I think we can. So we just started building more like electronic beats and stuff like that, and that kind of led to the sound change, and also at that point we're like, the Walking Sticks does not fit this more like electronic alternative sound, so we changed the name to SHAED.
And we had a lot of elderly people hitting us up for Walking Sticks on our Gmail, and we said this isn't maybe the look we want. Time to rebrand here.
Sure. And then so you start SHAED, and with that is when you signed to Photo Finish. Was it fairly quickly and kind of got the
It was
ball
pretty,
rolling for the band?
it was pretty quick. I think
Yes.
we were like SHAED for maybe like a couple months at that point, and then we released a couple songs on SoundCloud, and they heard it, and we worked with those guys for a couple years. It was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you had a Victoria's Secret song on like a commercial. I mean, because that trampoline blew up via the Apple commercial,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you had an earlier moment then with Victoria's Secret.
Yes.
We did. That was quite the ad. It was pretty funny. I mean, that was one of our oldest songs called Name on It, and it's like real funky electronic kind of song. We still pretty much close with that one. It's the pre-closer to Trampoline still most of the time, because it's just a lot of fun. And yeah, we played a gig for Victoria's Secret and around Coachella times, and they really liked that song, I think, and it was really cool when they put it in a little ad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, do you remember seeing the ad the first time, being like, "Oh wow, like this is our song in the background." Wild.
Yeah, because I think that was like our first big syncashe. I mean, definitely our first.
Yeah, that was our. Yeah, we never had anything like really synced before that, so it was
Well,
cool.
that's not true. Chelsea and her
Oh.
solo project was in, what was that show called?
Oh,
I had a song in
Two
The
songs.
Hills.
Two songs.
Two songs, and
Oh, the Hills.
remember
one in
those?
the Hills, one in the City, which was the Hills spinoff, I think. But yes, I did have that.
That was
That's cool.
that was pretty tight.
That was huge.
That
Max-
is tough.
Max and I had one sync, and on the first there's a Hello Kitty record that came out, And
They
we
were
were
signed
we were
you too?
signed as songwriters when we were really young, at like 18.
Yeah.
That was like the first thing we did for them. Like, hey, Hello Kitty's releasing this record. They need some songs. So we just wrote a song called Hello Kitty, and it was like,
It's not what you would think though. It was like
Yeah.
they were trying to like rebrand and go for some real like kind of like
I feel like it is what you think. It was like super poppy, like
yeah, but it wasn't like child. It was for like teenage. So it was
Yeah.
like
yeah, true.
Hello Kitty. Like it was this whole vibe thing. It was cool.
Anyways, we're getting off the rails here, but
Not as cool
Oh,
as
that's
not as
awesome.
cool as the city or the hills, but we thought for
it
I
was
mean,
pretty
Hello
fun.
Kitty, that's a big deal, especially for that probably at the age that you're writing for.
Mm.
And then obviously Trampoline had the MacBook Air commercial. And tell me, I guess going into that, you had the big moment with the Victoria's Secret ad and that EP, and then you put out Melt, which had Trampoline on it. And did you know that song was it like, tell me kind of how the ethos of like how it ended up landing on Apple, and then it just catapulted. And then I was on the radio and terrestrial radio in San Diego and San Francisco, and I remember seeing the name in the song, and it exploded from there. I couldn't believe it.
That's really cool. Yeah, we had released that song, 6 months prior to the Apple commercial, and at some point, like maybe a month or two after we released the song, Apple reached out and said they wanted to use it for something. We had no
Yeah.
idea what it was
they were
for.
interested in using
They
it.
were interested in using it for something, so we yeah, that sounds great. But then for 4 months we didn't hear anything. It was just dead air until the commercial aired, is the first time we saw it. So we had no idea what it was going to be used for. And we just kind of tuned into they do like a big release, event. And
Yeah, where they're showing all the new products. Is it that like
Yeah,
keynote
exactly.
thing?
Yeah,
So-
Spence and I went to we were all living together at the time, and Max was still asleep per usual.
I had a
and-
night in the town and I woke up in someone else. And
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. But I missed the whole
But
conference.
we went to this diner that we love to go to, and then we were driving home, and I was like, let's just like live stream it on our phones just to see, because we had actually no idea. And then they're like, and the MacBook Air, and then it was our song, and Spencer and I had to pull over. We were like, like just screaming. It was hilarious. We were calling Max like
I
1,000
woke up and I
times.
had like 30 missed calls and I was like worried something bad had happened because I had no idea.
Sure.
Like, oh my God, what is it was so exciting though.
Came bursting through the
Crazy.
door, and we were just like running around our house for the entire day. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was
It was
crazy.
very cool. Yeah, it was wild. I remember just like refreshing the YouTube link to the commercial and just seeing like millions and millions of views on this thing. I was like, wow, this is crazy. So anyway,
I think the Air already out or was it the new it wasn't the first
No. It was like a newer era.
but it was
Yeah.
just the timing was like I don't know what it was, but people were really obsessed with that. It wasn't just about the song. It was like the MacBook Air was such like it was right before Christmas too. So
sorry, that's my phone. You
Oh,
can-
okay.
Sorry about that.
No,
Just mute
don't
that.
apologize. That's the fun of the
yeah.
podcast.
It was like it was right before Christmas and like the holidays and people were like the air was just going crazy at the time too. So it was just like this everything coming together at the same time. It was wild, but
Yeah, but I mean, sure, but also though, how many products come out that have a song aligned with it and then it doesn't do anything, right? I mean, there's not a whole lot. You have to have the song, especially enough to someone to be like, "Oh, this I really like the MacBook Air, but this song, I'm sure the 90 million, 2 billion people that have heard the song weren't buying a MacBook Air."
that's
You know what I
true.
mean? Like it's like one of those things where the song obviously was so grabbed so many people that they wanted to not only they're interested in the commercial, but then look up the song and then find the song and stream the song.
The Shazam data or like the Shazam data we were getting back was actually like a huge like launching point for the song too. And we were taking it to radio. It was like because we were virtually unknown at the time. No one knew who the hell we were. And the song was like the number 2 most Shazam song in China for like 2 weeks. And then in the United States, it was like top 3, top 4. So it was going crazy. And our label we had a great team and this company, Caroline, now they're Virgin, but this amazing team, Marnie and Marissa and all these awesome people. But they they like were able to go to these stations and be like, yo, this song is like, everybody wants to know what this song is, and that kind of Shazam stuff really kind of helped feed the machine for a while.
Yeah, and I remember that time too because I was working on the radio station, and some of the record reps would come and be like, this song has been Shazammed X blah 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 times.
Yeah.
And but with Trampoline, it was just I just remember, and then now you hear it all the time. I heard it like 2 days ago. My kid's birthday party, he went to a trampoline park and they were playing the song, and I'm like, oh, how fitting. But like it was just
I
like
know.
I think
wild. You'll hear it in like Target or it's
Oh,
all
yeah.
over.
yeah, it's still
It's still
it's
doing its
still
thing.
kind of doing its thing. It's crazy. And then our friend Sam, who's like his artist name is Jaws. He did an electronic remix that we had done a competition on Splice, which is like if you're a producer, you probably heard of Splice, where you can download samples and stuff like that. And we uploaded all of the tracks for Trampoline on there, and like anybody can make a remix for it. So like we woke up, and this is another crazy moment where we wake up and we're like, have you guys seen this? And Sam had debuted his remix of Trampoline at Coachella for like 100,000 people, and we were just like,
Dang.
damn. And honestly, like it's definitely like our favorite remix of the song. It's like it's just so well done. It has like a totally different vibe. So that also kind of gave more life to the song and has a lot of views and stuff. So that song has had many different lives, I
Yeah.
feel like.
And then the Zayn version, obviously, that was a whole nother
Yeah.
story. His lyrics, his vocal tracks showed up in our inbox one morning. We had no idea. We had played Jimmy Kimmel and we woke up the next day and it was like, check your email, and it was Zayn's, like
Wow.
we heard that he was maybe interested, and then he just like loved the song, I guess, and sent us like him singing through the song. And the representative at our label had sent him an earlier version of the song with a completely different outro and stuff. So he had sang all these different parts.
That was by accident.
That by accident. So we're freaking out at first. We're like, oh my God, like what the hell did you do? Because Zayn hadn't even sung like the final outro of the chorus, but he sang all these other parts that didn't make the single version, our version, and we ended up incorporating those into the remix. So it was like a happy accident that happened, but
Wow, it's
that
amazing.
was another crazy thing.
And you have an album coming out in June.
Yes.
Yeah, Spinning Out. I had a chance to hear it. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Can you tell me about the album, or when did you guys start recording it?
Yeah, so we have just to give a little more context, we record everything on our own. We've got a little studio here at Chelsea and I's place, and then Max has his little setup in DC. So we've been, writing and sort of recording this album for close to 2 years now, I think, a little less
Wow.
than. Yeah, we also, Chelsea and I have just had a daughter who's a little over 2 years old now. Her name is June. So
And another one coming on the way, right? As I saw on
Another one on the
Instagram.
way.
Another one
Yes.
coming out.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
So she was a huge inspiration for the record. A lot of the songs were inspired by her, and I don't know, I think we just got in like a really good creative zone, and we kind of, I don't know, went back a little bit more to our roots where there's a lot more harmony on this record. There's more stripped down stuff with just piano and Chelsea, and I don't know, I feel like we're just really proud of the tunes, and it's like I don't know.
Yeah, we're stoked on it. We went out to LA and we did the main collaborator that we worked on a few songs with, this guy Mike Del Rio, who's just like this super talented dude. He produced he's produced for this artist LP that we really love, and she had
I love LP. I've had LP on this podcast.
oh, amazing. Yeah. So we love their stuff. And so yeah, Mike, we went out and did a few songs with him too, and which was a blast. But for the most part, it was just a lot, just us kind of getting back to our roots and recording everything on our own. And I don't know, we invested in some new gear. We got like this really fancy new microphone for Chelsea. We like blind tested 10 different microphones because we were just like, we wanted to kind of really try to get a more high fidelity sound for Chelsea's voice. And so I don't know. I mean, I think if you compare this album to the other stuff that we've released, it's a lot more kind of centric on the vocals, and there's not as many huge kind of big lush layers. It's more kind of stripped for overall. Just
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's what I hear that in the album as well.
Yeah. So
It's when it comes to writing these songs together, Spencer, do you and Chelsea start on it, or Max, do you come with an idea? Like how does a song kind of come together, or is it all completely different?
We spend 90% of the time together. Like Max will drive to our house, we'll drive to his house. So we spend the week like treating this kind of like a 9 to 5. And so we generally will get in a room together and maybe someone has an idea, to start out with, or maybe we're starting out from scratch, but it's really collaborative. We're generally, in the same room, kind of working on stuff.
Yeah.
It's been really nice. We have a good workflow, I feel like, and especially since having our daughter, I feel like we're just a little more honed in on, hey, we've got like the time now, when she's at daycare, we're like, we've got the time to like write music, and it's been really productive and really nice.
Mhm. Yeah, how is that I mean, are you gonna do a tour coming up for the album? Like you might have two babies at that time. That is that gonna be? Are you gonna have to bring? Is the whole family coming along, or what?
We're still trying to figure that out. We've got a bunch of shows that are around the album release, and we've got a bunch of one-offs up until then, but we're trying to figure out what it looks like. It'll be some version of that,
Chelsea's gonna be super pregnant for like 5 shows on the East Coast because we're doing like
Oh my
June and
gosh.
July, and she's due in August. So
I'm gonna be a bowling ball on the which I did not do for my first one. I had our last show was like 4 months before.
was it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting. I'm really excited to kind of see the next adventure, but we'll just have to figure it out.
Yeah. Spencer, you mentioned how your daughter was a big inspiration for this album, and when it comes to like, was there a specific song or something that you were like kind of new at that moment
yeah,
that
definitely. Actually, our the single we just released, "Rocket in the Sky," is very much inspired by June. That one, like, is, you know, of all the tunes on the record, that one is definitely most inspired by her. We like pretty much wrote it about this sort of love that you feel for someone when that you didn't know you had. And you know, even though like she's our daughter, Max was like a huge part of the creative process in that song with like helping to really reimagine the chords and some of the lyrics and stuff like that. So
It can be about anyone. I mean, shout out to my amazing partner Quinn, but I'm been seeing him for almost 3 years, and we, you know, like the most serious relationship I ever had. So I was feeling a lot of emotions similar, but in a totally different kind of context. But it really can be about anyone that you have, just like that you're so infatuated by this person that you like forget to tie your shoes or to put toothpaste on your toothbrush. Like it's that, it's got this whole kind of vibe that, nothing else really matters at this point, and you're just infatuated by this person.
love that. No, no discredit to Quinn, but she's also your niece as well,
Exactly.
Max does love June.
I love
They have
June.
a very hilarious relationship.
She's awesome.
And June, our daughter June, loves Max's dog Lenny because Lenny comes over every day too. So
And
they're
Max got Lenny around the same time that June was born, so they've always
like
kind of been
a
like
few weeks
literally
apart.
like
eight.
siblings, cousins.
like siblings.
Really
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing. Well, like I said, I love the album and everything that you all have done thus far, and hopefully you'll come through Nashville. I don't know what your tour schedule looks like, but I have one more question for you. I want to know if I can get an answer from each of you, if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Oh my goodness. I'll start. I would say maybe I won't start.
Take your time.
It's a big question.
It is a big question.
Yeah, I don't want
I
to
can
speed
maybe
you up.
Yeah,
I
you
can maybe
start.
ramble for a second here. I don't want to keep. I think that just you can only speak from your experience, and because we've been all doing it together for so long. I think that like a really important thing to always remember is that like if you are writing songs that you connect
Mhm.
with, that is the most important thing, I think, rather than um just like valuing your own judgment, I think is really important. Is like as a songwriter, sometimes you can sort of hear other things and chase things because they're what's popular at the time, or you know, that kind of a thing. But like Trampoline, for example, our most successful song was really just like us, you know, writing about a deeply personal thing, like our fear of death, and trying to write about a character who um is sort of at peace with that, and like writing about something so personal, even though it's kind of like a darker thing and maybe it's not quite as commercial as other songs could be. Like that's what was used in the Apple commercial. So you really just don't know. And so I think just writing songs that resonate with you personally is a big thing.
Yeah, I'll go off that. I would say writing songs for yourself rather than other people, just because when you write something that is personal to you, something that you love, something that you're passionate about, then it translates to fans, to people, you know, people see a genuine person rather than, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. I kind of want to keep writing on this theme too, because it is like, it's one of those things where there's something that like maybe you kind of feel like a little selfish if you are writing the song purely for yourself. But I think it's really kind of the most, like that's how you connect with people, is like we're all human, and when you are really trying to reach into those deep places of yourself and just going there, that's what people are going to connect with the most. So by writing for by writing with that intention, you're really kind of doing the least selfish thing, I think, and trying to, that's how you connect with people. So
Oh, I'll say one more thing. Don't wait for inspiration to hit. Treat it as I'm gonna work my ass off every day, and not every day is gonna be fruitful, and but I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna wait until something inspires me to go
Yeah.
into a room and write a song or something. Just like really just
it's like
like
yeah.
continued
Like the fishing,
Continue
like going fishing. Like if you're not throwing your line in the water, you're not going to catch anything.
ooh, that's
It-
good. That's nice.
Yeah, I made that up. No, I heard that somewhere. But really, that it's really like, even if you are like not feeling great, or even if it's like for a few minutes every day, if you can. And I think we should be taking that advice too sometimes for ourselves, because we get wrapped up in like, you know, all the like promotion for these songs,
like
and
doing podcasts and stuff like that. Yeah,
This guy taking about 30 minutes out of my life right now.
I'm kidding.
but really, like sometimes you get wrapped up in these other things, and then you're like, why do I feel kind of like, why do I feel kind of crummy right now? It's like, I think we always have to remind ourselves to at least try to write, even if it's for a few minutes every day, or you know, you can take a day off, but just like flexing that creative thing every day, like that's more important than making a ton of TikToks. So you got to keep the creative juices flowing, or it starts to feel stagnant.
Bringing it backward.